We'll have to wait until sunrise to find out the extent of the flood damage in Medicine Hat, Alberta. The swollen South Saskatchewan River that slices through the community was expected to crest overnight. 10,000 people were forced to leave their homes yesterday, and the home of the Western Hockey League's Medicine Hat Tigers already flooded. 2 of the 3 bridges that connect the city were closed amid fears the river would overrun them. Meanwhile, in Calgary, home and business owners are returning to view the damage now caused by the worst flooding in the city's history. Evacuation orders were lifted yesterday as the water in the Bow and Elbow rivers continued to recede. Parts of the downtown core are still submerged. Schools and most businesses are closed today. Mayor Naheed Nenshi warns it could take weeks or even months for the city to clean up from the floodwaters. Senator Pamela Wallin is trying to clear up some confusion over her Senate travel bills. As the Senate investigates the expenses of 4 senators, Wallin has written a letter to the editor of the Wadena News in Saskatchewan. She says many of her trips to Saskatchewan were actually classified as other trips due to Senate accounting. Wallin says flying from Ottawa to Saskatchewan usually meant arriving at 1 a.m. and she felt that it was too late to drive to Wadena. Wallin says she would stay at her Toronto apartment and fly out the next day. Veteran Ontario Cabinet Minister Laurel Broten is calling it quits with politics. Broten announced last night she'll resign as Intergovernment Affairs Minister and her seat in Toronto on July 2nd. The 45-year-old former education minister says she's moving to Halifax with her twin sons and her husband. Broten is the 4th senior Liberal to leave the legislature this year. Of course, former Premier Dalton McGuinty resigned his seat in Ottawa South just a couple of weeks ago. There appears to be no end in sight to the strike that has shut down construction sites across Quebec. Officials say conciliated talks between unions and an alliance of construction companies broke down overnight. About 175,000 construction workers went on strike last week, pushing for higher wages and better working conditions. Premier Pauline Marois has hinted her government could introduce back-to-work legislation by the middle of this week. It was a somber anniversary in the Northern Ontario community of Elliott Lake. Residents gathered to release multicolored balloons carrying messages of remembrance to mark the 1-year anniversary of the deadly mall collapse. 2 people were killed, dozens injured when part of the roof at the Algo Centre Mall collapsed on June 23rd of 2012. A judicial inquiry is now looking into that disaster. Ottawa police continue to investigate after a Jeep crashed into the United Way building in Ottawa's East End. The crash happened on Coventry Road just before 6 o'clock last night. Police have not ruled out a medical emergency as cause of the incident. The driver was taken to hospital with undisclosed injuries. You could soon be able to report a crime by simply logging onto your computer. Ottawa police are developing a tool to allow residents to report some crime and disorder incidents online. Staff say the initiative would reduce calls to 911 and provide enhanced customer service. The pilot project expected to be implemented early next year. This hot and humid weather baking in the capital expected to last until the middle of the week. A humidex advisory has been issued for Ottawa, meaning it'll feel like 40 degrees with the humidex. Environment Canada says hot, humid conditions will persist until midweek, along with warm overnight temperatures. Good news, Ottawa's public beaches and outdoor swimming pools are open.